America just woke up to a legal shockwave, not a tremor, but a full-blown constitutional earthquake, the kind that rattles the foundations of federal power, sends bureaucrats scrambling, and rewrites the rules of the game overnight. This time, the epicenter is the Supreme Court, and the aftershocks are already rippling through every courthouse, gun store, and living room across the country. What happened isn't just another court filing or a delayed appeal. It's a bold, aggressive move by the highest court in the land, one that could permanently kill the ATF's Pistol-Brace Rule, not pause it, not tweak it, end it, nationwide, forever. And the speed, the tone, and the sheer force of this judicial step has left even seasoned constitutional lawyers speechless. For months, the Pistol-Brace saga has been a legal dumpster fire. Millions of Americans who bought stabilizing braces legally, transparently, and with ATF approval suddenly found themselves staring down the barrel of felony charges. Not because Congress passed a law, not because the courts ruled, but because a federal agency changed its mind. Overnight, a decade of greenlit accessories became contraband. Veterans, disabled shooters, hobbyists, and home defenders were told they now owned unregistered short-barreled rifles, unless they paid up, registered, and submitted to federal scrutiny. The backlash was instant. Lawsuits flooded in. States rebelled. Gun rights groups went to war, and the courts, fractured and inconsistent, started issuing conflicting rulings. Some blocked the rule, others upheld it. Chaos reigned. But now, the Supreme Court has stepped in, not with a whisper, but with a judicial sledgehammer. Legal insiders say this isn't just a procedural nod, it's a signal, a flashing red light that the ATF's rule is on life support. When the court moves this early, this decisively, it's not just reviewing, it's preparing to rule. And when that happens, the entire regulatory playbook could be rewritten. This isn't just about braces, it's about power. Who gets to make federal criminal law? Who gets to redefine what's legal and what's not? Who gets to turn law-abiding citizens into felons with the stroke of a pen? The founders never imagined unelected bureaucrats wielding that kind of authority. And now, the Supreme Court is poised to say, enough. Inside the Beltway, panic is setting in. The Biden administration bet everything on the idea that the rule would survive long enough to force compliance. They expected fatigue. They expected fear. They expected silence. Instead, they got resistance. Lower courts tore the rule apart. Injunctions spread like wildfire. States refused to enforce it. And now, the Supreme Court is hovering not to save the rule, but to end it. This is historic. It's rare for the court to intervene this early in a regulatory dispute, even rarer for it to send signals this strong, but that's exactly what's happening. And the implications go far beyond gun accessories. If the court strikes down the ATF's rule, it won't just be a loss for the agency, it'll be a collapse of the entire strategy of regulation by reinterpretation. No more midnight rule changes, no more retroactive bans, no more bureaucratic sleight of hand. Congress would have to legislate, not delegate. Agencies would have to regulate within bounds, not rewrite reality. And gun owners would finally have clarity, stability, and protection from political whiplash. But to understand why this moment matters, you have to go back to the beginning. For years, the ATF said pistol braces were legal. They issued letters. They approved designs. They gave the green light to millions of buyers. Then, without warning, they flipped. Suddenly, braces were stocks, pistols were rifles, and owners were felons, unless they registered, paid, and complied. No vote, no hearing, no law, just a policy pivot and a threat. The backlash was ferocious. Gun owners felt betrayed. States felt ignored. Courts felt rushed. And the Constitution felt violated. Lawsuits erupted from every corner: Texas, Florida, West Virginia, North Dakota. Judges began issuing nationwide injunctions. Some ruled the ATF exceeded its authority. Others said the rule violated the Second Amendment. A few even hinted it breached the separation of powers. The legal ground was crumbling beneath the agency's feet. But even then, few expected the Supreme Court to jump in this soon. Now it has, and the message is unmistakable. The era of unchecked regulatory power is over. Gun rights groups are mobilized. They see this as their best shot in decades to slam the door on bureaucratic overreach, not just for braces, but for every future rule. That dares to criminalize without legislation. Gun control advocates, meanwhile, are bracing for impact. They know that if the court rules against the ATF, it won't just be a setback, it'll be a tsunami, a legal precedent that could unravel years of regulatory expansion. But the court doesn't care about polls. It doesn't care about pressure. It cares about precedent, structure, and constitutional limits. And right now, all signs point to a reckoning. A ruling against the ATF wouldn't just kill the Brace Rule. It would restore the wall between lawmaking and law interpreting. It would force Congress to do its job. And it would protect millions from being recriminalized overnight. Imagine it. No more surprise bans, no more retroactive felonies, no more agency fiat. Just clear laws, passed by elected officials, enforced consistently. That's what's at stake. The Brace Rule was the spark. The Constitution is the battlefield, and the Supreme Court is no longer watching from the sidelines. This is bigger than gun parts. It's bigger than politics. It's about who writes the rules in a free society, and if the court follows through, if it delivers the knockout blow that legal experts are now predicting this moment will go down in history as one of the most significant Second Amendment victories of the modern era. Not because it saved a piece of plastic, but because it saved the system itself. The message is loud, it's clear, and it's spreading. The days of regulatory regimes rewriting reality are numbered, and when the dust settles, the Pistol-Brace Rule won't just be paused. It'll be dead, buried, gone. And with it, the myth that federal agencies can invent crimes without Congress. That's the real victory, that's the real earthquake, and America just felt the first wave.